All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to Walks on Wall Street. It is Saturday, and we are streaming in a little bit of a different area in New York. We are actually in Williamsburg. I was working out of the WeWorks office here today. So we're actually going to be commuting back over the Williamsburg Bridge to Manhattan. I'll give you guys a little bit of a view outside the office here. So it's going to be about maybe a quarter mile, maybe a little bit more, walk to the Williamsburg Bridge. Obviously, there's going to be no specific topic for tonight's stream. We're just going to be sort of hanging out, walking around, and tomorrow will be our much anticipated Markets A Look Ahead live stream, where we will be going over everything from earnings, from economic data that will be happening the week ahead on Wall Street. But for now, let's see who we have in the chat, and then we will head out. I see Jonathan Richards says, happy Saturday evening, Tom. Good to see you. Soho is here. Gregory, welcome. Vinny Castellano, KJ is here. Welcome, KJ. Now, I don't know what this thing is. I guess it's some sort of a game where you throw, I don't know, you throw these little pucks down here. I'll show you guys. So I don't know what this is, but I guess you toss it and try to get it somewhere down there. I don't know. Anyway, hey, RS. Good to see you, my friend. Monica's here. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. You know, it's good to be back in Brooklyn. I actually used to live here. Not in this particular neighborhood, but I used to live in Greenpoint, which was a fantastic, fantastic neighborhood. Ah, Mike C says it's a table shuffleboard. Okay. Yeah, they're like these little sort of pucks, I guess, that you throw down. Yeah, I'm not too good at that. But team, let's head downstairs. You know, really beautiful WeWork here. I was spending much of my time today in here. I don't know if you guys could see it through the window, but really nice space. And there's actually a lot of people here grinding away working, which is fantastic to see. Here, this is a little view of the kitchen here. Hey, Dante Rose, what's up, my friend? Good. Let's and we will be headed over the Williamsburg Bridge back to Manhattan. Horatio Snipes says, Tom, what were you working on this Saturday? There was a couple, let me just push here. There was a couple proposals that I needed to get out early Monday that I was quite a bit behind on. So usually I take the time on the weekends to do that. Also reading a lot. Usually Saturday is my day for reading IBD, Investors Business Daily, Barron's, and the like. So this is Brooklyn, New York, Williamsburg to be exact, and it's a really, really nice place. Now, I didn't used to live here. I lived about maybe a mile from here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, which was also very, very fun for its time. So I think we have to make a left here on Mulberry Street and go all the way down to the bridge. So it should be interesting to walk over the bridge tonight. I see Destructionist says happy Saturday. Was just watching the New York walking show. Hey, awesome. Oh, no way. That's crazy. Caught a marriage proposal live on stream. That's awesome. You know, I have a funny story about a marriage proposal, but I'll tell you guys in a different stream because it's a little bit crazy. Hey, Penelope is here. Says hello, Tom, and everybody. I'm working in the kitchen right now, but we'll be listening with my ears. Penelope, what's up? Good to see you from Tennessee. Now, one of the things I really like about Brooklyn are all these really like interesting and hipstery places, right? So check it out. Now, Williamsburg and Greenpoint, Brooklyn, it's always like a younger, a lot of hipsters, things like that. It's interesting. It's definitely a change from being on Park Avenue and constantly streaming from up there. I think it's a little bit more fun here. GGMYC says, now you gotta tell us, I won't be able to sleep. I'll tell you on tomorrow's stream, the Markets to Look Ahead stream. But check this out, this place is happening. This place is awesome. I'm so glad I came here. Now, the reason why I actually came here today is because I went back to my, well, one of my favorite coffee shops in New York in general. And that's a place called Upstate Stock. Now, when I went there today, there was a big motorcycle sort of rally meetup. There must have been like 1,000 motorcycles. It was crazy. But this was in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So if anybody is visiting New York, or definitely would recommend checking out that area. Hey, Jay is here. Says, hey, Tom, good to see you. Dave C. This is very lively. What's up, Dave? Trust you're well, my friend. Thanks for joining. Hopefully your weekend is off to a great start. Mike Cease turned on AK at San Gennaro for a few minutes, and 3 different live streams merged at the same point. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So what is the San Gennaro's feast looking like now? Now, we walked through it a little bit last night, but it was so packed. I'm not really a big crowds type of guy. I said I was gonna check it out earlier today, but I spent the majority of my day in Brooklyn, actually. Fedex is here. What's up, Fedex? Good to see you. Stephanie says, hey, Tom and everybody. Stephanie, good to see you. Now, one of the things I did want to talk about is, obviously the past 2 streams we were talking about the need for new leadership in the market. And one of the things I'm seeing right now, which is actually not good news for me, because I'm not too well versed in biotech for reasons we've spoke about many times on the stream, but it seems as if a lot of the new leaders now, groups, obviously number 1 is like solar, renewables. Number 2 are a lot of these biotech companies are doing really well. Now, my position on biotechnology stocks, companies in general, is they tend to be very, very risky. And the reason why they tend to be so risky is because many of these companies are sometimes pre-revenue. So they have tons of investors that are backing a specific potential life-saving drug or a therapy or something like that. So it's very dependent on an FDA approval. Now, assuming that, clinical trials go well and they get all the way up to the point where the FDA could potentially approve this drug or deny it, that's pretty much make or break for many of these companies. Now, what happens if the FDA does not approve the drug? Well, that's a big problem, because oftentimes what you'll see is it'll be so hyped up, right? It'll go through many rounds of clinical trials, it'll be successful, and then boom, it doesn't get FDA approval. The stock pretty much goes to zero overnight in many cases. But as of right now, if you look at the relative strength of the market, a lot of these biotech companies are doing really, really well and outperforming the broader market. And I think I'll always probably miss those particular stocks just because I'm not smart enough to understand which ones are more likely to grant FDA approval and the like. But we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. I want to do a more in-depth stream on it. Hey, Austin City Limits is here. Good to see you. Welcome. Denise Ebby. Sally's here. Good to see you, Sally. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Joe Driver says hello, Tom, and all the team. What's up, Joe? Welcome. You know, very, very quiet here. Very quaint street. So I think the Williamsburg Bridge is coming up 2 more blocks, 3 more blocks. We'll see. Hey, Bernard Friedman says, I see you are in a different borough, but good to see you here. Yeah, Bernard. I spent the majority of the day in Brooklyn today, which was nice. I was walking around my old neighborhood of Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I used to live there for about a year. One of my favorite neighborhoods in New York, and man, has it changed since I've lived there. I mean, also in terms of rents too. Rents have pretty much doubled since I've lived there. It's become a very, very popular neighborhood, as I guess you could call it. The word is after being gentrified, I guess. A lot of new people are moving into the neighborhood. Sunshine after rain, what's up? Sunshine is our good moderator, says love Brooklyn. Yeah, and I don't think we've ever live streamed from Brooklyn before on the channel. You know, unfortunately, well, I guess I shouldn't say unfortunately, but we always start off in Manhattan, mainly because I just turn on the live stream after work. But sometimes on the weekends, if I get a chance to come out to the outer boroughs, you know, I think it's a nice change. Marcelo Gill is here from Brazil. Saturday Night Fever. What's up, Marcelo? Good to see you. Marcelo, we were actually just walking past the UBS building, the major investment bank across the street from Neuberger Berman 2 days ago. Ooh, there's a rat. Not as many rats in Brooklyn as there are in Manhattan, but definitely there are rats here nonetheless. Hey, Sophie M. Says, good evening, Tom. Enjoying the walk and talk this morning here in Australia. Welcome to all of our viewers from the land down under. I trust you're well. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Already Sunday for you guys. Same thing with all of our Korean viewers as well. It is Sunday, I guess Sunday afternoon now for you guys too. Very lively tonight. Hey, Walking Minnesota says, enjoy Brooklyn tonight. Thanks for the new views. No problem. So I was working, so for half the day I was hanging out at my old favorite, well, I guess it's still my favorite in Brooklyn, my old favorite coffee shop. Did that for about half the day. And then there's actually a WeWork on 4th Street, North 4th Street, that I haven't been to before. But that is an amazing one. Now, I couldn't give you guys the full tour of the WeWork tonight on the stream, but if you rewind the live stream, here's the Williamsburg Bridge, by the way. That took a lot faster than I thought. Anyway, so we are going to be walking over the Williamsburg Bridge tonight. Now, not for nothing, it's actually kind of chilly out, which is pretty good because we're going to be doing a lot of walking tonight. I think I clocked it all the way back to Penn Station is going to be about, I think, 8.5, 9 miles. So we'll probably wind up doing 13 miles because, you know, we weave in and out of different streets, check things out. I see Paul Greenwell is here. Good to see you, Paul. Thank you for joining. Bit of Wander is here. What's up, Bit of Wander? Derek's is here in New York City, Long Island. It's Saturday night. What's up? Hope you guys are well. Jose says, hello, love your videos. Planning on going back to New York next year. Your videos helped a lot for me planning my trip. Hey, that's awesome. Well, maybe we'll run into each other when you're here. This is Williamsburg. And just to give you guys some perspective, we're gonna be walking all the way over the bridge. Now, I think the last bridge we walked over on the live stream was the Brooklyn Bridge. So this is gonna be a nice change. I guess a little bit of change of scenery. Leonardo says, what's up, Tom from Brazil? Good to see you. Hey, Gennaro Scotti says, hello from upstate New York. Can you talk about the best time to purchase or the best time for a new car purchase? So I don't drive. I'm probably not the best person to ask that. Well, let me rephrase that. I do know how to drive, but I choose not to drive because, I mean, I'm in New York City and Miami, and public transportation's really, really nice, really convenient. But I will say this. I'm not sure if you saw our live stream when we were talking about the CPI report. Now, if you look at, there's two components of the CPI. Obviously, there's the headline number, which includes very volatile food and energy. And then there's that core CPI that excludes volatile food and energy. So if you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, so I think if you type in the chat !CPI, I believe I programmed the Nightbot. Ooh, check out this apartment. This thing is really cool. Sort of like a loft. There's a component of the CPI where it tracks new and used vehicles. And year over year, obviously it's up a lot. But what surprised me was the month over month data. And month over month for new vehicles actually continued to go up. And I believe for used vehicles, it came down a little bit. But from what I'm hearing from some of my other friends who you know, follow the used car market and the new car market a little bit more than I do, I think prices are going to come down materially for used vehicles. For multiple reasons. So we're almost at the Williamsburg Bridge, the entrance where we will walk over. So I think in Q1 or Q2 of 2023, if you are in the market for a used car, I think you're gonna get some pretty good deals here. Now, I will also say this. It's usually not a good idea to buy a new vehicle from an investment standpoint because these are really, really depreciating assets. So they depreciate once you drive them off the lot. So sometimes, and this is coming from a person who doesn't drive, I don't really know anything about cars, but if I did have to buy a car, I would buy a used vehicle with about 15,000 miles on it because the thing is pretty much like new, right? If it has 15,000 miles on it, it's pretty much like new, but you are going to get a steep discount because they cannot sell it as new, if that makes sense. So for me personally, I would never buy a new car. All right, team, here we are. This is going to be cool. So this is the entrance. Oh, that's awesome. This guy's riding one of those longboards, and I believe it's one of the electric skateboards too. Hey, Ramsey is here. This is Tom. What's up, bro? Good to see you, Ramsey. Welcome. Victor says hello, everybody. Dusty Cole is here. Says, hey, Tom, how you doing tonight? Doing very good. We are now at the entrance of the Williamsburg Bridge, and we're going to be walking over into Manhattan. So we'll start that now. Now, I was going to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge, but it's a little bit too far away from here. So I think we'll just head over the Williamsburg, might as well. Now, the one thing about the Williamsburg Bridge is it is rather narrow. So I have one of those, I actually have one of those strobe lights on my backpack that light up. Because if you look all the way down, oh, here's the train coming over, by the way. Because if you look at the bridge down here, there's not a lot of lights. Now, granted, there are lights, but they're all blown out. So every time I walk over either the Williamsburg or the Manhattan Bridge, I always want to wear one of those strobe lights on my backpack so people can see me. Somebody's like, is this the pedestrian bridge? I don't know, honestly. I think it's merged into one, is it? I think the pedestrian bridge and the bike lane is the same, isn't it? If it's not, we may be on the wrong side, but I've walked over here quite a bit. Marcelo Gill says it reports that drivers in New York pay on average of $1,000 annually for minimum coverage and insurance. Yeah, that's another major expense of owning a car. Okay, I'll tell you guys a quick story. Now, every time I'm on Long Island and I have to go grocery shopping or something like that, I'm in the Stop and Shop parking lot. Without fail, every time, literally every time, I see some guy or some girl in the parking lot inspecting their car. And they're like getting down on all fours and looking at, whoa, what is this? What was that? I don't even know what those guys were carrying. But they're down on all fours, like looking for scratches on their car. And I'm like, guys, at the end of the day, you gotta come to terms and you gotta come to reality with the fact that we live in New York. There's millions of people here. The roads are egregiously horrible. So that means your car is gonna get scratched. You can't expect your car not to get scratched. So why stress yourself out over saying, oh my gosh, somebody scratched my car, and then freaking out? I mean, that's expected to happen here. Hey, Strider 1239 says there's a separate walking bridge for the Williamsburg Bridge. Is there really? I don't see it. Maybe it's over there. I don't know. Well, that's where the subway goes over. If you look all the way in the front there, you'll be able to see the One World Trade Center. So Ed Dunkel says I had all four of my wheels stolen. That's crazy, man. 52 says, yeah, your car is going to get scratched, but you have to care about the level of damage. I grew up in New York City, Coney Island. I agree. But the thing is, these people are buying or leasing new cars, right? That's the thing. So obviously with the lease, when you're leasing a car, you have the obligation to return that vehicle in good condition to the dealership once the lease is over. So when you factor in your risk parameters, wouldn't one of the things that you factor in is, okay, well, I'm leasing a car, I'm driving it around New York City, where there's rocks kicking up, glass kicking up, there's, you know, probably more crime than not in other parts. So maybe I should just opt for a beater, a piece of junk to bang around the city in. I don't know, that's sort of how I think about it, but wow, check this out. So this is the top of the Williamsburg Bridge, and you have a really nice view of the Empire State Building here. Really nice. Hey, Emilio J says they can be checking if their Cadillac converters have been stolen. Their Cadillac converters. Oh yeah, that's a big issue. So this is a really nice view overlooking the Empire State Building here on top of the Williamsburg Bridge. You could also see the One Vanderbilt building, all of Midtown. Oh, team, I think you're right. There is a pedestrian side. You know what I think we're gonna do? I think we're gonna go back down the other way and go up the pedestrian side. I didn't see the pedestrian side. Let me see if the pedestrian side merges here. Let's see. I don't think it does. And the good side is if we go back down and start over, we're gonna be able to see the World Trade Center. So we'll get the best of both worlds. We got a shot of the Empire from up here, but now we're also gonna be able to see the World Trade Center from the other side, which should be really nice. Hey, GM Workstation, yeah, I think it's on the other side. So did anybody see that Wall Street Journal article about the affordable places to live on Billionaires Row? Now, the article was essentially stating that there's specific buildings in and around 57th Street that you could either buy, you know, a one-bedroom apartment or more for under $2 million, and that's what they call affordable. Now, the article on Twitter sparked so much outrage, which I sort of understand, but at the end of the day, the term affordability is a relative term, right? Affordability for one person may be different for a set of others. But I actually thought the article was pretty well written. So there's specific studios, one-bedroom apartments that you could actually purchase near 57th Street. I would say in between either Columbus Circle, so that would be like 7th Avenue, Broadway, and also in between, I would say all the way over to Park Avenue. Now here's the catch. I would say the main catch is that even though those specific apartments go for, $1 to $2 million, the monthly maintenance fees are going to be really, really high. I was looking at some of those listings, and the monthly maintenance fees, or you could consider them like the HOA fees and things like that. Some of them were like $3,000 a month. And the $3,000 a month covers, to pay the doorman, things like that. Maybe it's a full service building. Maybe you have a parking garage in your building. So that'll also include your free parking space, things like that. But I mean, $3,000 is a lot of money for monthly maintenance. Yeah, Abstract Angel Artist. This is $3,000 a month. Well, that was the most expensive one that I saw. It was $3,000 a month. I would say the median price was anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month for your monthly maintenance. I guess you could just call it an HOA. Wow. Yes, Solo Flowers says, Tom, 432 Park Avenue. The HOA fees are about $60,000 a month. Yeah, I would imagine for some units. Really, $60,000? Well, I guess one of the top units that sell for, $132 million or something like that. Now, 432 Park Avenue is a very, very unique building because I believe it has a 5-star restaurant in the building. Now, there's been many articles in the New York Post talking about what a disaster that building is, mainly due to architectural design flaws. But yeah, you're right. It's the monthly maintenance fees that really get it. Hey, Gary Carpenter is here. Good to see you, Gary. Denise Sebi, good to see you. Welcome. Trust you're well. Hey, Cynthia Beal, Ramp 5. Happy Saturday, everybody. Marcelo Gill. Is that right? Ramp 5 says, Tom, there is a building on Ludlow Street in Delancey nicknamed the Desert Storm Building because it's camouflage exterior. It's a college dormitory. Wow, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. All right, team, so we got to walk over this. I'm not sure how we're going to get across, being that it's a massive highway here. So I think we're going to have to walk up a little bit. We'll explore around the neighborhood. Check out the architecture on this building. Yeah, Iowa Oaks is $60,000 a monthly maintenance. They must have a pool. I think that building does have a pool. I think the vast majority of the buildings on Billionaires Row have a pool. I know 432 Park Avenue does, and 157. Alrighty, guys. One of the things I also noticed about the neighborhood right as you exit off the Williamsburg Bridge, a ton of new developments. Yeah, Mike sees like a pool. It better be. That's hilarious, man. Hey, Marios, does anybody have any advice on doing a job interview for a bank? Well, which position at the bank are you looking to interview for? What I would do, here's what I would do if it were me. Hey, Lizzie Hatch is here. This is happy Saturday. You as well. We're in Brooklyn today. What I would do, if you're talking about investment banking, right? If you want to, geez, these bikers are crazy, man. You can't blow the red lights. Even if you're on a bike, don't blow the red lights. You never know. These cars can't see you, man. Hey, Kumar's here, says, hey, buddy. Hey, Kumar. Richard says, hello, greetings from Costa Rica. Good to see all of our pals in Costa Rica. Welcome. So one of the things I do for investment banking specifically, it is very, very important that you build a network. Okay, so I'm assuming everybody probably on here has LinkedIn or something like that. What I would do, especially if you're in college, I would reach out to entry-level investment banking analysts on LinkedIn, and I would ask them for 15 minutes of their time. Maybe you could buy them a cup of coffee and just get to networking with them and ask them what their best practices were when they were interviewing, right? You know, another thing that is very advantageous when interviewing, hold on. Another thing that's very advantageous when interviewing is to have something. We'll wait till the loud car goes by. I can't stand cars that are loud. Another thing that's best practice is to have something going on outside of your traditional academics, right? That relates to your specific job, right? So depending on which department of the investment bank you want to work in, because investment banking is many things, right? You could be working in M&A or mergers and acquisitions. It is though. You could be working in sales and trading at the investment bank. You could be in underwriting, or you could even work in back office, right? And compliance. Well, let me just cross here. Oh, this is it. I think this is the entrance to the walking bridge. But one of the things that I would do is have something else going on besides your academics. For example, let's say if you want to be in sales and trading, you know, maybe while you're in college on the side, maybe you could start like a little newsletter where you cover specific stocks and generate those ideas and recommend them in the newsletter and detail why you would recommend those specific stocks based upon certain parameters like earnings, sales, maybe the company has good return on equity, things like that. So that'll show them that you're taking the initiative to really stand out amongst the crowd and do something else besides what everybody else is doing, just taking the specific classes and then just applying. If you have something else going on to talk about, that's really going to show that you're taking charge and taking initiative here. All right, let me just throw out my cup. Peter Luger's Steakhouse is really, really good. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat has been to Peter Luger's, but it is one of my favorite steakhouses in the entire New York City. Teresa Diaz, good to see you. Welcome. Let me just toss out my plastic cup. All right, so now we are on Broadway, my friends. And you can see the sign for Peter Luger Steakhouse here. Hey GMs, it's a very nice evening. Good to see you. Yeah, Mike C, the pedestrian walking bridge, that's where I gotta focus on. Where is that? Let's walk around this parking lot and see where it is. I don't think I've ever walked across the Williamsburg Bridge from this side. Christian Wilson's like Tom and his adventures in the bike lane. Yeah, maybe we'll just have to pop on a city bike and head over. Where do we think the walking starts? I just want to get a vantage point from here. Oh, maybe over there. Go to the left. Hey, Steve. Says evening, Tom. And everybody stay safe. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Somebody says the bridge looks haunted. I doubt it. Let me ask the, I'll ask the officer. Hey, excuse me, officer. Do you know where the walking path is? Do you know where the walking path, not the bike lane to walk over the Williamsburg?
I'm not sure. No.
Oh, you don't know? Okay, thanks, man. Yeah, the police officers don't know. So around this neighborhood right down here actually used to be two of my largest clients back in the day. And I was at my previous company, Nursing Personnel Home Care. They're one of the largest home health care agencies in New York. And there's actually a really good pizza spot too. We actually may walk there. Oh, somebody says make a right. Is it right here? Trex Mike says it's 4 a.m. where I am. Awesome. Buy the book. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Hey, Junior B, this is my neighborhood. I live on the north 10 between Bedford and Berry 35. Junior. Oh, somebody says go straight. All right, team, you're gonna have to guide me to the walking path. Marcelo says, where is he specifically? This is the entrance of the Williamsburg Bridge. Oh, Cynthia says the Broadway in Bedford. This is Broadway and something. GM, good to see you. Yeah, Mario says Domino Park is a great place. So I've been to, I actually used to live very close there back in the day. But might as well, since we're here, I'll show you guys Peter Luger's I've never walked over the Williamsburg Bridge from the Williamsburg side, but I actually used to work in this neighborhood down here. But here's Peter Luger's Steakhouse. This place is very, very good. Although it is rather expensive. It's right here on Broadway. Looks like it's packed in there. Hey Lewis, what time is it in New York? I believe it's about 9 o'clock. We've been streaming for about an hour, so maybe it's 9. About 9 o'clock. Ooh, 9:23. I was 23 minutes off. Yeah, Gary says I'd love to eat at an expensive restaurant just once. All right, let's walk up here. It has to be up here somewhere. Hey, Big Task is here. What's up, Big Task? Oh, this is where we just were. That's so hilarious. We just walked around in a circle. That's hilarious. That is so funny, man. All right, let's go to the other side. And if not, we're just gonna pop on the train and go over there. Somebody's like, leave breadcrumbs. Golden's Dawn is like, Tom, not crazy about where you are, looks sketchy. No, this is actually a really nice neighborhood. And not for nothing, surprisingly, I actually did used to work in this neighborhood for quite some time. Right down here is a very large home health care agency that I used to do consulting with. I've just never walked over the walking bridge before.
So Billy could be empowered. We're just going out with that.
Wow, BSR says the weather looks amazing and never stops raining in Miami these days. Has it been raining all week? You know, I will be back there on Tuesday night. So hopefully it doesn't rain, so my flight doesn't get delayed. So the good thing about flights, as we were talking about as it relates to inflation, is I finally got a flight for under 150 bucks since this whole crazy inflation thing happened. I think I paid about $108 for my one-way ticket, which is good. Now, it couldn't be this way, right? If we go up this way. I don't think so. We could get a vantage point though and see. The ESR says don't forget the umbrella. Well, I think it is hurricane season, right, in Miami. Nope, it's definitely not here. Big tasks. This topic of this discussion was airline inflation. Well, that was one of the categories in the CPI report, and that's actually one of the only things that's actually coming down, which is good news. So for airline travel and lodging as well. So I used to pay $50 before all this inflationary craziness. I used to pay $50 for a one-way trip to Miami, Florida, and vice versa. But then it got as high as $320 and $325 for a one-way. But now it's actually coming back down, which is good news. Which makes sense because energy prices have materially been coming down. Crude and things like that. All right, let me focus on getting on the walking bridge. So I'm gonna listen to you guys in the chat. And I'll have you guys direct me. So we're gonna start here. So is it this way and then over? I'll let you guys direct. So according to Google Maps, it's on Bedford Avenue. On West Broadway and Bedford. So what is this? What street are we on? Let's see. Ed Dunkel is like you're getting warmer. All right, team. So from here, hey Jay, what's up? Okay, Strider says you were, okay, so from here, yeah, I have no idea where the walking bridge is, so I'm gonna follow you guys in the chat. So Z-Train, Should I continue this way? Turn around, go back to Peter Luger, and second or third right. You took the first one. Ah, copy that. 10-4, thank you. So maybe after all this trouble, everybody, we'll have to go into Peter Luger's, grab a steak for the group, and then recharge and then walk over. Ryan Royal, it's like, yes, go straight. Ryan, good to see you, man.
Oh yeah, good. Like it's my sister's cousin too.
Gail Arnold's like, I'll pay. Denise Ebbies is looking for John Travolta. I wonder how much that bill would be for 748 steaks. Now, I'm not sure if we could write that off or not. We'll have to see. Ed Dunkel is like, this is the most entertaining walk. For me too. Hey, Felipe Lima is here. Good to see you, my friend. This is good evening, guys. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. So did anybody see the, and we're going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow. Obviously there's no topic on Saturdays, but I wanted to do a deep dive into FedEx's earnings report. Now, even though earnings were horrible, I think what was worse was the guidance. So the forward guidance was really, really bad. And on the call, they announced a complete hiring freeze, a potential cutback on Sunday delivery, and the closure of over 90 FedEx office locations. Now, that's not good news for obvious reasons, because if you think about potentially using FedEx as a proxy for the health of pretty much nowadays all industries, including e-commerce, if a lot of people aren't buying things online, and this sort of goes back to our thesis that due to COVID, I'll give you guys one last look of the Peter Luger's. We said, look, due to COVID, we probably had about a 3 to 5 year pull forward in spend, pretty much condensed into 12 to 18 months. And now many economists say that on the horizon, yeah, JP says he also mentioned a global recession. Yeah, and the thing about that is we're already in a recession in my view, right? 2 consecutive quarters of contracting GDP growth is a recession. Now, I know there's some slight nuances to that, JP. But I think, and again, I've said this many times before on the stream, I think this particular, to call it a recession or not, has become so politicized when it really doesn't need to be. Because essentially what's happening is anybody who thinks that we're in a recession, everybody automatically assumes that they're just saying that because they want to, in some way, shape, or form, put down the Biden administration, which is not the case. Many people are, yes. And the other people who are saying, no, it's not a recession, there's some nuances here. You're like, oh, you're just trying to save face for the administration. So I don't really think it needs to be politicized, and I don't even really think it's that big of a deal at the end of the day, because recessions are normal, right? Just because there's a recession under a specific president's watch doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. All right, maybe I should pay attention here and listen to you guys. So this is Bedford Avenue. Beautiful here. Okay, Striders is right here. Copy that. 10-4. But yeah, the comments were very concerning. However, one of my good friends sent me the interview. I believe the CEO of Fedex was on Mad Money the day after, or maybe that same day. I think we found it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I want to give I want to give a big thank you to all the viewers and to anybody who helped me out find the walking bridge. If you come to New York City and you run into me, stakes on me. Now, this may bankrupt me because many of you are trying to help, but across the street, it's so funny. Yeah, Miranda's like text action kit. I wish. We need like a bat signal for action kit. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the interview with Kramer and the CEO of Fedex. Now, I think I'm probably going to do that once I get on the train here tonight, but it was a very pessimistic outlook on the economy overall. But I think we could use this earnings report as a good forecast of what's going to come down the pike. Cynthia Beal. Hey, Western Mass Dave, what's up? Good to see you, Dave. We are walking over the Williamsburg Bridge tonight. Yeah, Ed Dunkel is like nice signage. Wow, it's actually kind of nice here. So I think my least favorite bridge to walk is definitely the Manhattan Bridge. Because the Manhattan Bridge is so loud. Yeah, GX72. Just now we're gonna be able to see a great show, the One World Trade Center. It's coming up here in a minute. BSR. Says used to live in Flushing for 3 years. Yeah, Flushing's nice. Flushing's actually a larger Chinatown. All right, so this is the One World Trade Center right here. Yeah, Strider says this gets loud when the train passes too. Now, the problem with the Manhattan Bridge is not only is it the bike lane and the pedestrian in one, the train is right on top of you. Wow, check this out. This is really nice. I'll try to give you guys a very nice view. the grading is too small, so the camera is hard for it to focus. Now on the Brooklyn Bridge, it's a lot easier for it to focus. We got the water taxi going over too. Hey, Felipe Lima is here. Good to see you, Felipe. Marcelo Gill's like, get an iPhone 14. I think I'm gonna pass on the iPhone 14 this time. Hey Martin, good to see you. This is a creepy looking place. Wow, look at the Empire State Building over there. So if you look right between these two beams, you'll see the Empire State Building lit up in all blue. And if you look all the way to the right, you can see the 1 Vanderbilt, as well as the 432 Park Avenue. My shell says, hey Tom, when will you be in New York City again? I'm here now. I don't know. Not too sure. Hey, June is here, so that's a long walk. I think the route from where we are, so we started the stream off at North 4th Street in Brooklyn, then all the way to Penn Station. Should be maybe around 13 miles, especially after we were pacing back and forth trying to get on the walking bridge. Hey, BJ Axis here. What's up, BJ? Hey, Austin City Limits. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, as we get lost over the Williamsburg Bridge, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Yeah, Blues Riders, like if you see the Joker, turn around and walk faster. We'll definitely have to do that. You know, the downtown Brooklyn skyline is actually looking pretty crazy. So all the way back here, you can see the skyline of downtown Brooklyn. And when I was a teenager, I used to take the train, Long Island Railroad, to Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn, and walk all the way up to the Navy Yard, Brooklyn Navy Yard. And everything is so different now. So many crazy buildings. You know, downtown Brooklyn, and even as you walk up to like Dumbo, things like that, you know, it's almost, I think in many cases, it's more expensive than parts of Manhattan too. So, incredible change in a very, very short amount of time. Hey, Andy is here. Slow Tom, good Sunday morning. Andy is joining us from South Korea. What's up, Andy? Good to see you. That's a view of the backside. Hey, Robert Parker, what's up? Luke Timber says you sound like a teenager now. Yeah, that's true. I think it may be because I never smoked and never really drank any alcohol. Moonstones, do they have that extra fence on the bridge so people don't jump off? Maybe. It's like a protection. Oh my God, guys. You guys are gonna laugh. We could have easily just walked like 5 more steps and crossed over from the bike lane to here. We were literally standing right there. We could have just walked over here. That's so funny. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Tell me that's not funny. I mean, is that hilarious? Come on, that's funny. I think I said that. Did I say that? Then I'm like, you know what? Wait, maybe there's like a crossover. I'm like, nah, let me just go back down. That's too funny, man. That's so funny. Mike sees like I did say that. Yeah, well, at least we got the extra steps in. Getting a lot of road work done today. Yeah, Gary's like, Tom, funny, not. Wow, the Empire State Building looks amazing. Love the color scheme. So I'm going to try to show you guys the One World Trade Center. You'll be able to see it right here. And then here's the J train coming by. Okay, solo flyers. There's a few buildings are purple tonight for the Queen, I imagine. Not sure the Empire is bright blue though. Yeah, I'd be curious to know why the Empire is blue as well. It's an awesome color scheme. Once we exit the Williamsburg Bridge, we're gonna be able to see it a little bit better. Hey, Diane says, my daughter just flew to New York City from LA to meet her lost love from college at the Empire State Building. Whoa, very nice. Well, good luck to that. That's awesome. It's definitely going to be a nice weekend for it. It's not too hot. It's not too cold either. I think tonight it actually may get down below 75 degrees. It may be like 72. It's actually kind of chilly up here. Oh, Deborah says, Tom, the Empire State Building is blue for the New York Giants' first home game. Yeah, that's right. So football is now starting again. Let me see if I could zoom in on the Empire for you guys. So you'll see it right here. A lot of traffic too. Hey, Miranda, Holy Mother of God, this bridge is very long. Yeah, It's a nice walk though, it's not bad. So tomorrow, everybody, we are going to be doing our Markets Look Ahead stream, where we will be talking about all the up and coming earnings reports on Wall Street, as well as key economic data. Now, next week, I believe Costco reports earnings. So I think that's going to be one that we'll probably cover in detail. But aside from that, I think tomorrow I also want to spend some time talking about some potential new leadership in the market. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the data, at the end of bear markets, usually the industry sectors that turn up first will go on to be the leaders, the new true market leaders during the next bull market. Now, what it appears to be, if we look at relative strength, as of right now, it appears the renewable sector, solar specifically, has a lot of stocks that are showing relative strength. Also in the biotech sector. Now, you guys know my take on biotech investing and biotech stocks in general. It's not really my wheelhouse. And the reason for this is because, oh man, I think they just took a piss on the bridge. It smells horrible. The reason why I tend to not get involved in new biotech stocks is because it's really not in my wheelhouse. And if you look at a lot of these very, very, I would say small and mid-cap biotech companies specifically, a lot of the times they don't even have revenues right now. And they're very, very dependent on one particular drug gaining FDA approval or not. So oftentimes what you'll see is one particular biotech company will be very, very hyped. And the clinical trials could be doing fantastic. There's great news. And then it gets all the way to the end where the drug is just about to get approved and the FDA denies the approval. And a lot of times what you'll see is, boom, overnight, the stock gets chopped in half. So I think for the average person out there, now if you're an expert and maybe you have a history in pharmaceuticals, or maybe you're a biomedical engineer or something like that, and you really know what you're doing, then yeah, maybe you could, make a lot of money here. But I think, such as myself, not being too well versed in biotech specifically. Wow, look at the Empire State Building over here. I think you may have a bit of a difficult time, and it may surprise you when specific drugs don't get granted FDA approval and the like. So that's sort of, for me, if this next new bull cycle, when it comes, assuming it does come, as of right now, it looks like biotech is going to be leading the way. And that's not good news for me, because I've never really had much success investing or buying these particular names, just because that's really not my wheelhouse. I mean, you guys know we tend to talk about, enterprise software and tech companies, cloud computing, but I think if you have the expertise in pharmaceuticals and in biotech, I think you're probably going to do quite well, maybe over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, I think one of the main, I guess you could say, innovations that it looks to be coming out is all of this gene editing technology now, like CRISPR gene editing, which I think is going to be very, very viable for a solution to actually curing diseases. The problem is, I'm just not that smart. I'm just not smart enough to know which companies are actually making the most progress. So I may have to force myself to immerse myself in the space a little bit more. But those are the two industries that seem to be leading the market right now, at least. Biotech. Hey, Robert says, I work in biotechnology. Well, Robert, it looks like this is probably going to be a good market cycle for you. Now, my brother graduated Cornell University, and his major was biomedical engineering. So I may have to lean on him a little bit as to, which drugs are probably going to, get FDA approval and the like. But what I think may happen is a lot of these larger pharmaceutical companies are probably going to notice this trend and probably just buy out these smaller biotechs. But we'll talk a bit about that tomorrow, maybe. Hey, Big Talk is here. Good to see you. My Shell says CRISPR is now and the future. Yeah, I mean, and that's the good news, right? That's definitely the good news, because I think a lot of this stuff is going to lead to cures of diseases. Yeah, Gail's like, keep the brother on the Christmas card list. A glass of beer 12 says, I don't know where to invest my money. Gold is down, crypto is down, real estate down, stocks down, what to do? So there's a really interesting book. It's one of my favorite investment books. And it goes by the name of, well, I'm actually blanking on the name. It's not my night tonight. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator by Jesse Livermore. And to use his words, sometimes you just have to go fishing. Which means when the markets are in a screaming downtrend, sometimes the best thing to do is just to chill until we have a confirmed uptrend in the market. Now, if you look at all the broader based major indices like the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the S&P 500, all of them are well below their respective 250-day moving averages. So long as they remain in screaming downtrends, it's going to be very difficult to, even if you have specific individual stocks that are compounding out their earnings, they have fantastic pre-tax and after-tax margins, great return on equity. I think it's going to be very difficult to have those type of stocks make any progress when the general market is down. Not to mention we are in a huge quantitative tightening cycle from the likes that we haven't seen since the 1980s with Paul Volcker. So, to use Stanley Druckenmiller's words and not mine, sometimes it's best not to fight the Federal Reserve and just wait it out. Solo Flyers is never-ending bridge. Well, I think we're almost over it. We're almost done. You could see the Empire State Building lit up in all blue. You could see the One Vanderbilt, the Chrysler Building, and 432 Park Avenue as well. Now we are going to be getting off at Delancey Street. And we will be cutting all the way over, probably down to Mulberry Street, where we will be heading uptown towards Penn Station. Yeah, Mario says, is this walk ending at Penn Station? It is. Hey, Michael says, hey, Tom, how are you? When are you headed back to Miami, Florida? I got to be back mid next week. I got a couple meetings. I have some stuff to do. So I'll probably be back Wednesday. Probably Wednesday. I'm actually going to a golf outing too, which I'm actually looking forward to. I'm not too much of a golfer myself, but looking forward to it. All right, team, we made it off the bridge. I want to thank all of you for helping me over the bridge. Now, this bridge is very controversial right here. I'm not sure if anybody remembers from back in the day. The police officers used to sit right here on the bridge, and for anybody who would ride their bikes and not dismount, they would bang them over the head with the ticket, and everybody was all up in arms. I was actually one of those people who got a ticket, but I was actually on a skateboard at the time. This was way before my streaming days. Hey, Ariel says, do you speak Spanish? Un poco. Very little. Very, very little. All right, so we are now on the island of Manhattan. But Brooklyn was fun. I had a good time in Brooklyn. Wow, Golden's Dawn is like my brother was All-State 3 years in a row in golf. That's awesome. Yeah, golf is fun. I'm not really that big of a golfer. I'm not good at it, but you know, some of my clients love it. Love it, love it, love it. So sometimes I'll suggest to go to like a baseball game or something, just really low level to, you know, it's like an outing for the clients, but some of them really like to play golf. So I think I'm going to be forced to getting into it a little bit more. Now, I'm by no means a good golfer, but I think I could probably pick it up. Maybe if I played for like a year straight, just incrementally get better. Zozo Bob says golf is boring. It's a good time. It's not, I mean, it depends on where you're playing, right? Now, I'm not sure if we have any big golfers in the chat. I think we have a couple, but for anybody who's golfed out on Long Island, if you've golfed at Bethpage, that's actually one of the best courses, I think, in the United States. So you could play the Bethpage Black course, which supposedly is one of the hardest courses in the United States. If you play the Bethpage Black. I played at Bethpage a couple times for like a charity event. But yeah, definitely not good at it. Hey, Estelle is here. Good to see you. Estelle is joining us from Australia. Estelle, hopefully you're feeling better, by the way. Estelle actually just had to go through a major surgery, so hopefully, you know, you're recovering quite well. Now, I think we're actually going to pass a very famous delicatessen, Katz's Deli. Strider says, did your company cut the entertainment/spend management budgets given the recession? Well, I no longer work in my old company. Technically, it's, I just sort of run my own little bar, if you will. But a lot of my other friends who work at, you know, like Oracle or SAP, yes, they've cut the budgets materially. The T&E budgets have been cut a lot. Hey, Sunshine, New York City. I think Sunshine, New York City is in Florida, Palm Beach maybe. Hopefully you're enjoying your time down there. Good to see you. So Sunshine, I was just telling them I'm actually going to be back down in Florida next week for maybe two or 3 weeks. I got to do some things. I got to go to a golf event. But hopefully oh, Sunshine, you're back in New York now. Okay. How'd you like it? I know that you told me you were in Palm Beach. Palm Beach is really nice. Cynthia Beal says you grew up on the Lower East Side. Very nice. Yeah, Lower East Side is a good time. It has a lot of bars here as well. I've noticed it is really busy tonight, probably because of the New York City Fashion Week that's going on. Always very lively, especially on a Saturday. But I think as we head closer to Little Italy, it's going to be a lot more packed. I'm not sure we're probably going to walk up Mulberry it's gonna be too crowded, but maybe we'll walk down Canal Street. Hey, Lil Tower, good to see you. Estelle says, thank you, Tom, much appreciated. How's your weekend going? My weekend's going good. I sort of took the day to relax. I went back to my, where I used to live in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I saw a massive motorcycle meetup show. There must have been like 500 bikes. Some of these bikes were amazing. Now, I'm not a big motorcycle guy, but some of these bikes were insane. There was a big meetup today in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and then I went to the WeWork on North 4th Street in Williamsburg, and then we got lost trying to walk over the Williamsburg Bridge. So it was a good time. I'm having a good time.
I said that.
BSR says Miami and New York City. New York City is I probably like a little bit better in the summer, but in the winter definitely want to be spending the majority of my time in Miami, Florida. Just because I'm not a big winter guy. Some people like the winter. I'm not a big winter guy. TTV Paper Plane says hello, good to see you. Welcome. Marianne. Welcome, Marianne. Now, I have a quick question in the chat. So, quick question for everybody in the chat. How many of you were lucky enough to frequent the Carnegie Deli before it closed down? Now, I remember when they closed down the Carnegie Deli, and that was all the way up there, going towards Central Park. And it was a really big, depressing blow for the city because that was an iconic delicatessen in New York. Wow, Wendy England's like, nope. You never been there? That's a travesty. That sucks. Mike C says you never went there? Man. Hey, Christian says, I hope you're in good shape walking around the city. I'm assuming you're going to the gym. I think I'm probably more well-versed in like cardio than I am tossing weights around. Oh, Mario says no. Jackie says I've been there just once. Tone Rick says I never got a chance to go there. I think you guys missed out. Well, if you want to go to a place that's very similar to Carnegie Deli, you can go to Katz's Deli, which I don't think it was as good as the Carnegie, but it's all right. It's good. Yeah, Mike, he says these walks are Tom's gym. I would say back in my college days, I would go to the gym a lot, mainly because I would have to. Because I was playing college soccer at the time, so we would have like these gym activity days before class where they'd make you do a bunch of stuff, but I'm more of a runner. I kind of enjoy running. I would say overall more than lifting. Hey, Bernard Conte says, good evening, Tom from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Good to see you too. Thank you for joining. Roya says, I like Cats, a big dining place. Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of that at all. Yeah, Fedex says, I remember the corned beef sandwiches were big enough for 2 people. All right, we may go this way. You ever encounter one of those situations when you're walking in the city and you're just like matching the same walking pace with the same guy that's next to you. And if it's more than like, if that happens for more than like 2 or 3 blocks, I make a diversion. I just can't do it. Not a big fan. Sam's is the Hellcats, is that what they're called? Yeah, I'm not necessarily a big fan of loud cars. Not a big fan. Yeah, Sunshine, New York City says, yes, too weird, isn't it? I don't know what, I thought it was just me, but it's true. If you guys ever come to the city and you're walking down the street and you match pace with somebody for more than 3 blocks, I dip out all the time. Like, I can't do that.
In all states?
Wow, this place seems pretty busy. Rivington Street. Wow, they closed down the whole block. Check it out. This is really nice. I'm glad they do that because there's actually a lot of people out and you don't need cars whizzing by. I think the city actually did a good job by closing those type of streets. Definitely a lot of people. We'll walk down Rivington Street, might as well. Cynthia Beale says, when people tailgate me on the street, I turn around and then get behind them. Freeman Alley. Hey, Action Kids says, I was just there in the Lower East Side and East Village. It's so busy tonight everywhere in the city. Yeah, AK, we just got lost over the Williamsburg Bridge. I couldn't find the walking bridge. We were actually wondering where you were. But yeah, it's crazy packed. So I spent the majority of the day in Greenpoint, and Greenpoint, Brooklyn was also crazy packed. But Action Kid, not for nothing, this street, Livingston, sort of reminds me of Wynwood in Miami a little bit, doesn't it? Especially with the Alec Monopoly murals everywhere. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat has been to Wynwood, Miami. It's like the big art district, very up and coming, and pretty much every single, I would say pretty much every single building is covered in some type of graffiti. And this sort of reminds me of it a little bit. Dan Zhang says, hey Tom, I was just in the neighborhood. Could have said hi if I walked. Yeah, Dan Zhang, if you're in the neighborhood, man. Wow, the Empire looks awesome. So back in my college days, I used to skateboard around this neighborhood all the time. Not so much anymore now. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these live streams roughly 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. So Monday through Fridays, we tend to have a dedicated topic as it relates to the financial markets. Saturdays are the days we take off, and Sundays is when we do our Markets to Look Ahead stream, where we cover all the notable earnings reports and all the major economic breaking news that is going to be coming up ahead during the week on Wall Street. Sing Your Life says, why is the street dirty? I mean, usually in New York City it is always very dirty, especially here in Delancey. Or I would say Bowery, excuse me. Somebody says, Tom, are you a nightlife kind of guy? Not really, actually. Not a big nightlife guy. It's just sort of my personality. I don't like going out to the bars and things like that. It's not really my speed. Which many people say, well, Tom, if you're not that much of a nightlife guy and you're sort of introverted, how are you good at sales in your job in tech sales? To which I say, you'd be surprised that some of the best salespeople out there are actually introverted in nature and not extroverted. Robert Parker says, what happened to your skateboarding activity? Well, the thing is, when we used to do these live streams during the pandemic, if you guys remember the live streaming from the skateboard, what do you notice? Look at all these cars here now. And when we used to do the skateboarding live streams, there was literally nobody on the street, right? There was nobody, there was no cars. Also, during that time, we only had like a couple hundred people in the chat, maybe 200 people max. So sometimes it's difficult to do it, especially on a night like tonight. Danilo says, New York definitely is not a place to drive or have a car. Traffic is terrible. Yeah, I usually don't drive. And I mean, I don't really see a need to drive in New York anyway, because the public transportation here is fantastic. And it's also a very, very walkable city. I mean, we just walked all the way from Brooklyn to New York without a problem. Well, that's actually not true. We had a couple problems. But those problems were because I didn't know how to get on the walking side of the bridge. All right, so this is Houston Street. We're gonna take this all the way down. We're gonna cut across to the west side, because we gotta make our way over to Penn Station anyway, so we're gonna head over. Yeah, Ramp 5, those were the days, my friend. Hey, Mothman, what's up? Have you ever met crazies out there? Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Sometimes, I would say. Ooh, I could really go for Prince Street pizza. What about you guys? You guys feeling Prince Street pizza or no? Ah, Mike C says, I think I discovered Tom's channel about 3 months before he announced he was moving to Miami. So I think we used to do the skateboarding live streams, I don't know, probably my first 150 streams. I'd say probably my first 150 or 200 streams were mostly on the skateboard, I'd say. Also, another thing is that was when I was mainly working remotely and not having to go into the office. So when I do have to go into the office, it's hard for me to bring the skateboard into the office too, right? Especially if I'm meeting with clients, it's really not that good of a look. So. Hey, Dutchman, good to see you. Yeah, Ryan Royal says Prince Street Pizza seems popular. I'll have to visit. It's a good spot. Now, I will say it's a little bit unique in the sense that it's mainly for the spicy pepperoni square slice. So this is Mulberry Street, as you can see, and it's really, really busy because this is where the San Gennaro's feast concludes. Whoa, look at that pile of trash. But this is where the San Gennaro's feast concludes. I don't think we're gonna walk through here tonight because it's just too crowded, but at least you guys know where it ends. Now this will take you all the way down to Canal Street, which is, if you keep following Canal Street, you'll actually see Chinatown as well. And sometimes we'll start the stream off right at Canal and Broadway.
Windows down.
Maybe we'll go all the way over to Washington Square Park. Hey, Michael says, where do you get your coffee in New York? Well, there's actually a pretty good spot over here I'll take you to. This spot is called Gasoline Alley Coffee, which is coming up here in a minute. This is a pretty good spot. It's probably one of my top 10, I'd say. But there's a ton of good places, especially on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. But one of my favorites is actually in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And I believe it's called Upstate Stock. I was there today, but this place is good. If you see the flag here, this is a good coffee spot. I would like to say one of our viewers, Joey, I'm not sure if he's in the chat tonight, but he actually owns a small business located, I think more so upstate New York. This is a good coffee spot, Gasoline Alley Coffee. But if you want to support his small business, I believe the name of it is Ame Coffee. But I think there's 2 locations upstate New York. I do not think there's any in Manhattan, but it's good nonetheless. Hey, Mothman says this is going towards 14th Street. That is correct. So we're about to cross over Bleecker Street. But I think I may make a left here because we walked up here before last night. And we'll see how many people are in Washington Square Park. But you can get the B, D, F, M, and 6 trains here. Mike C says, man, the city is hopping tonight. Yeah, I noticed ever since Labor Day, that's when a ton of people were back in the city. Now, we talked about this a lot on the stream, especially as it relates to, investment banking, and I would just say broader tech companies in general, that essentially the precedent was set that after Labor Day, everybody is to be back in the office. So we covered, Goldman Sachs saying the same thing, Jamie Dimon over there at JP Morgan Chase saying, look, after Labor Day, everybody's gonna come back 5 days a week. So I think that has had a major, major impact. Look at all this garbage. I think that has had a major impact on the amount of people in the city. If you look all the way up here, you'll see the Chrysler building, looks beautiful. But I think the second thing is college is now in session again, and we're not doing any of that sort of remote learning, online learning anymore. Everything is pretty much back in person. So if you think about down here, we have New York University, all the way uptown. We have all of the CUNY schools like John Jay, Baruch. Even further uptown, you have the very famous Ivy League school, Columbia University. So all the students are back. So I've been seeing a huge influx of people coming into the city, but I really started to notice that after Labor Day. Check out these buildings, but check out the sky. It's amazing. Scott Wilder says Pace University. Yeah, so Pace University is located by the Brooklyn Bridge. That is also a very big university here. Hey, Jessica B is here. What's up, Jessica? Good to see you. We're making our way uptown now. So this is one of the dormitories at New York University. Mimi says, I definitely hope you sleep in and eat tomorrow. Yes, Sunday already. Good to see you, Mimi. Trust you're having a good weekend. Hey, Scott Wilder says, thank you. My daughter goes to Pace. She's a sound and light engineering major. Hey, that's awesome. Very cool. So during my college years, I actually used to work in Lower Manhattan right on Wall Street, but not in finance for a tech company. Ooh, this is a nice Tesla. Like the color. I guess you could call that jet black, I guess. But anyway, I spent a lot of time at Pace. Very fun down there, very, very fun. Ooh, looks like there's a fight. We'll have to avoid that. Great Jones Street. Dan Zhang says, Tom, I went back to the beginning of the stream. Oh, you were also in Greenpoint to pick up a friend? I could have just picked you up and dropped you off in Chinatown. Dude, I think we would have needed that too, my friend. That would have been awesome. Yeah, one of the worst things you could do, like the worst decision making you could possibly make in your life, is get into a road rage incident. That's a really, really good way to mess up your life for no reason. Anytime I see a road rage incident, always remind, and maybe a lot of the New Yorkers in the chat, if you guys remember this, probably Dan Zhang photos. Sunshine, New York City, you probably remember this too. I think this was about maybe 3 years ago now. And I think it was on the West Side Highway. There was a gentleman, I think he was about 35 years old. He was in one of those, what do you call them? Those big Range Rovers. So he was a banker, actually. I think he worked at Morgan Stanley. Not that it matters. So he was in his big SUV with his wife and his child in the back seat. And usually in the summer, for those, I'll quickly explain it for those non-New Yorkers here, but usually in the spring and summer, especially if you're walking around the city, you'll see something called a ride out, right? So what the ride outs are a lot of people from all the boroughs, they get together, they go on their motorcycles or ATVs and they cruise through the streets. And it actually kind of looks pretty cool. We get those on film a lot, but in this instance, what happened is all of those people, there must have been like 100 or 200 motorcycles on the West Side Highway. And one thing leads to another. There's a dispute between the driver, the Range Rover, and all these bikers. And the bikers surround the car and they're beating on the hood of this guy's Range Rover. They're busting his windows. And the guy just takes off and runs over like 10 of these bikers. And they chase this guy for 2 miles. He gets off in Washington Heights. The bikers catch up to him and they beat this guy almost to death in front of his wife and his child. And unfortunately, one of the bikers actually lost his life because he was run over. So never engage and let your ego get the best of you. It's New York City. There's traffic. Things move slow. Just chill out. You don't need to be getting in a fight with anybody. You're not a big shot. If you're late to a meeting, don't worry about it, because you never know if somebody has a weapon or something in their car. And just don't get in any road rage incidents. That's Yeah, Dan Zhang says it was huge news. The police actually had to put the driver in protection detail for a while. Did they really? I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. Jeez. Yeah, it's just not worth it. Even if somebody bumps into you, insurance will cover it. It's no big deal. Hey, Chris Beeman is joining us. Hey, Chris. Chris is here from Arizona. Good to see Chris. And even if, you know, because you got to play the long game, okay? I'm not sure if anybody read this particular book called The 48 Laws of Power. There's one particular chapter in there that's like, just lose the ego because you want to play the long game. So even if, you know, you're on the subway, you bump into somebody and the guy goes off on you, even though it's not your fault, just apologize to the guy. Don't have any pride. Just say, hey man, my bad, I really apologize. You don't want to be getting in some useless fights with people in the city or anywhere for that matter, because you never know. One thing leads to another. You know, you're on the ground, your head is clanging off the concrete, and you could lose your life. I mean, it happens more often than not. So I think you need to learn the art of de-escalating situations, how to reason with people, and just don't get so upset. If someone scratches your car or something, who cares, man? It's a hunk of plastic. It's not that important. Oh, Gary says, Tom, I saw this on Insider Edition. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit bigger news story than I'm making it out to be. Anti-BS is you can prove your point or your rights without being a coward. Yeah, I'd rather just de-escalate. I don't care if I'm called a coward. Not interested. Zozo Bob says we have road incidents in Florida all the time. Yeah, dude, I mean, ever since I've been down in Miami, I mean, the drivers are probably worse in Miami than they are here. Oh, GX72 says the story went nationwide. And at the end of the day, if somebody hits your car, and that's what insurance is for, right? Just file a claim, you'll get it fixed. It's no big deal. Yeah, Roy S. is 10 out of 10, Washington Square Park. Yeah, there's a lot of people here tonight. Sometimes I like to come here and just watch the skateboarders too. A lot of talent here. Wow, check out the Empire State Building all the way in the distance. That looks crazy. So the Empire is lit up in all bright blue. It looks awesome. Now, if you come to Washington Square Park, you'll actually find a lot of talented skateboarders here. Now, when I was in college, I used to skate this park all the time. And some of these guys and girls are really, really talented. Charles D says de-escalate is good talking point, but it doesn't work all the time. Yeah, it's true. I think maybe most importantly, Charles D, is just not putting yourself in a situation where you get in a crazy situation either. Luke Timber says, which college did you go to? I went to a very local CUNY school here. That stands for City University in New York, John Jay College. Sort of like a criminal justice school. Now, back in the day, John Jay College was actually only a school for police officers. It was actually a part of the NYPD Academy. But now you could pretty much go there and major in what you want, but it's still, speaking of police officers, look at them all over there, wow. But still, many times, or oftentimes, a lot of people that go to John Jay or either want to go to law school or something like that, or law enforcement in general. But it's 59th Street. The easiest way to get there is just go to Columbus Circle and then walk over. Which actually, right now, we talk about this a lot in the stream. It's what originally was the Time Warner Center is now the Deutsche Bank Tower. And Deutsche Bank used to be 60 Wall Street. And they've since moved out and moved all the way up to 59th Street, Columbus Circle, into the brand new building. Hey, awesome jacket dude. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. You are way too kind. This is part one. Say hello to the Super Mario Brothers for me. They should be getting out of their shift at 11 p.m. tonight. All right, awesome jacket dude. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And please have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Teresa Diaz says John Jay is on prime real estate. Yeah, so a couple years ago, they actually built an entirely new building at John Jay. Now, the main building originally was called the T Building. I'm not sure if anybody's, familiar with that area, but the main building was called the T Building. But then on 10th Avenue, they actually built a brand new, I think it's about 10-story skyscraper where I think 3 of the floors are dedicated to labs. And I think the NYPD crime labs may use some of those facilities for, different things like forensic research. I know at John Jay, they have a huge forensic science department there as well. A lot of my friends that I played soccer with majored in forensic science and then went on to work in the FBI, CIA, things like that. Hey, Saga says, hey Tom, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Born in Puerto Rico, raised in New York City and Jersey City. Recently, the drivers out have gone loco. Thank you for the rage advice. Gotta take it easy, right? Yeah, 100%. Have to take it easy, man. It's just not worth getting into an argument or a fight with anybody, Oh, here's one of those Revel taxis. Hey, awesome jacket dude. Thank you so much for another $5 donation. You're way too kind. Says, hey Tom, part 2. They be emerging out of the New York City underground sewer system and headed back home to Brooklyn to eat some spaghetti and meatballs. I guess that's a Ninja Turtles reference, right? Well, thank you for the donation. Thank you for the support, my friend. I appreciate it very much. This is 25 Fifth Avenue. Now, as we walk up Fifth Avenue, you guys are going to be able to see the New School of Design, which is a very, very famous and notable design school in the city. But once again, awesome jacket, dude. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And you could just sort of see the top of the Empire from here. Hey, Danilo says, do you know St. Francis College, Tom? If yes, is it good? Yeah, so in preseason, we actually always used to play St. Francis. They have a very good soccer team. So they're Division I school. I still have a lot of good friends that used to play soccer at St. Francis. We would always scrimmage them in the preseason at Pier 5 in Brooklyn. And St. Francis is a private school. It's very expensive. But yeah, I mean, the school's in a very nice neighborhood. Very, very nice neighborhood. But yeah, I'm definitely familiar with St. Francis. St. Francis College for sure. aka Jones's Clear Stream. That's actually one of my favorite neighborhoods in Brooklyn. So I think if I had to list top 3 neighborhoods, oh, they were talking about the Harry Styles concert. This guy, Harry Styles, big fan by the way, but he's been playing at the Madison Square Garden, it seems like every single day this month. And to his credit, every single day at Penn Station, it is mobbed after his concert. He must sell out the Garden every night, every single night. Now, we've been in New York for what, 2 weeks? And probably half the time when we end the live stream, we end it just as Harry Styles is ending his concert. And there's always so many people coming out. Empire State Building. I'd say from here, maybe like an 8-7 view. I think as we head closer uptown, it's gonna get closer to like maybe in the 9s, mid-9s, I think, as we get a little bit closer. So here we are at the New School of Design. You know, I think it's actually gonna be better if I cross the street because it'll give you guys a better view. So let me cross here. I think it's one of the more unique looking buildings. I think it's very appropriate for design school too. Hold on, I'll show you guys, let me turn around. So here we are at the New School of Design. And on the corner inside the school is actually a CVS. Gary says to me, college is a waste of money and time. I don't think so. I think in many cases it can be. What I would say is, look, if you are thinking about going to college and you have to take out a loan or go into debt to do so, then I wouldn't do that. I think, you know, you sort of get what you pay for, right? I think you have to run the cost-benefit analysis before you go. You know, what are you majoring in? Are you majoring in something that is going to land you a lucrative career when you graduate? Or are you majoring in something that's going to be very difficult for you to get a job? So I agree with the instance that, you know, if you're graduating high school and you don't really know what you want to do, you probably shouldn't just automatically enroll into a college, because I think you would be wasting your money. I think you maybe should take a year or two to explore, maybe build some skills, build some network, and then maybe focus in on a specific skill that you want to learn. Maybe it's computer science, whatever it may be. But if you're just going to go to a private college and, you know, major in something that is not going to really get you a lucrative job, then yeah, I think it's probably a waste of money. I think it all depends on what you major in. Hey, Mike C says, I started college at age 17 and didn't have a clue it worked out, but easily could have not worked out. Yeah. I think it's harder on kids today, because when kids today go to college and they don't really know what they want to do, chances are they're probably taking out a whole lot of loans. You know, it's a lot different than when the generations before me went. Phillips says, how do you pay for bills when taking gap years? Well, you get a job and you go work. I mean, for example, right now, and we talk about this all the time on the stream, we'll cross over to 14th Street. Maybe I'll give you guys a better view of the Empire though, and then cross over. Well, we talk about this all the time on the stream. I mean, if you look at the unemployment data right now, the unemployment rate in the United States is roughly 3.5%. The labor force participation rate right now is at all-time record lows, meaning that there is roughly 2 job openings for every 1 American looking for work. So if you don't know what you want to do, I would just go into the workforce and get experience doing something. And sort of life is just gonna come to you if you put in the work, right? You know, a lot of the way I got into selling software, enterprise tech sales, was from working at a car rental company washing cars, right? You would never think that as a teenager washing rental cars at Enterprise Rent-A-Car would translate into, you know, me then getting into the very lucrative career of selling software and hardware and mobility to Fortune 500 companies. But as you sort of just put motion out into the world, you know, the people who are renting the cars from me, I say, hey, you know, what do you do? Oh, I work at Salesforce. I'm an enterprise account executive. Oh, what's that? I don't know. One thing leads to another. You build rapport with these people. You provide them with the good customer experience. People are willing to help you out, right? Almost all the people that would come in when I was like 18, that would be renting cars early in the morning, they were either salespeople selling software, or they were in some sort of financial service where they would be going on like road shows or something. So I didn't even know what the cloud was. I didn't even know anything about anything until I was working for $9 an hour washing cars. So, all right, team, we're gonna come up on an amazing view of the Empire State Building here in a minute. Mario says, Tom, were you in the enterprise management trainee program? I was not. So I only really worked there washing cars, and then I got an internship, like a sales and marketing internship. I did that for 2 years, and then I went to work at a big telecommunications company. But I learned a lot from working there. I mean, a ton of people, really, really smart people would come in, many of which are still my friends today. Hey, Mona D is here. What's up? Good to see you. Adrian says, hey, Tom, networking does the trick. I agree. Mona D, thank you so much for joining the live stream. I trust you're having a fantastic weekend so far. Hey, Root is here. Says, I love your videos at night. For me, the live streams at night are cooler. Hello from Brazil. Thank you to all of our Brazilian viewers out there. Thank you for joining. So we're coming up on the Flatiron building. I mean, at the end of the day, the last thing I'll say about college, like, look, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, you gotta go to get a formal education, right? However, if you want to go work in tech or something like that, and you don't want to go to school for 4 years, well, there are other alternatives where maybe you could enter like an 8-week coding boot camp, right? Where you could, you know, learn one of the coding languages like JavaScript, HTML, C++, Python, C#, Node. You know, there's a lot of people that could land pretty lucrative jobs just from teaching themselves or enrolling in one of those very low-cost boot camps. But the problem with the United States is that college is so expensive here that if you go before you really want to know what you're going to do, you could find yourself in a really, really bad situation where you're graduating with sometimes $100,000 or more in debt and sort of no direction. And we've talked about why college is so expensive in the United States on the live streams a lot. I think the main reason why college is so expensive in the United States is because we made the very, very big mistake of subsidizing student loans. So the government subsidizes all of these loans, so it essentially strips out price discovery in the college market, right? So if I walk into a loan office and I want to take out, $200,000 to go to the University of Miami, I am guaranteed to get that loan every time, all day, every day, without any income verification, without any credit check, nothing, just because it's being used for education. Now, anywhere else in the economy, when that type of activity happens, it could literally crash global economies, just like it did in 2008 when we were giving out loans with zero income verification, no credit check or anything. That's really what caused the housing crisis of 2008 with all these subprime mortgages that eventually went into default. But with colleges, if I'm a private college, why I have no incentive to lower my price, because all of my customers, which are the students, can automatically get a loan in any amount they want. So if anything, they're actually incentivized to raise prices. And that's why over the last 30 years, what we've been seeing is colleges and universities essentially competing for students by building ridiculous sporting complexes, by building 20 cafeterias. It's almost like an adult playground in many instances, colleges are, because if the students are guaranteed to get the money to go, well, then budgets are able to exponentially expand all over the place at all these major colleges and universities. And what happens during that, when budgets expand, staff tends to get quite bloated. So the administrators that work at these colleges are making $100,000 a year, and the admins at these universities make more money than sometimes the professors do. And there's more administration than there are people that are actually teaching the kids. And I think that all stems from the subsidized student loan program, but I'll digress on that. I don't know why this street is blocked off. So this is east or west 21st Street and 5th Avenue. Seems like the road is blocked off though. What do you guys think of the color scheme of the Empire State Building? Jones says education is important. Yeah, I think education is the most important thing for a functioning and sustainable society. I agree 1,000%. So we are now right behind the Flatiron Building. Ryan Royal says, love the color blue. My Shell says, love it. I do too. Does anybody know? Oh, I think Cynthia Beale already told us. It's because of the New York Giants' first game. Is that right? The first home game for the New York Giants, I think, is tomorrow. Is that why the Empire is blue? It looks fantastic. I think they did a great job. Hey, Dave King says, it's crazy how much college has increased. I paid $75 a credit hour at a community colleges. Oh wow, at a community colleges. And around $300 a credit hour at University of Maryland. Wow. Yeah, it's interesting how crazy the expense has gone up. Hey, Bit of Wanders here from Kentucky. Welcome. Tribal Chiefs is, will you do these live streams in Miami too? Yeah, so we go live 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. So Monday through Friday, we start our live streams at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, where we have a specific topic as it relates to the financial markets. On Saturdays are our day off to sort of hang out. And Sundays, which is tomorrow, is our Markets a Look Ahead live stream, where we will be talking about all the notable earnings reports coming up throughout the week, as well as all the key economic data that is going to be coming out. And tomorrow is going to be a very, very, very big week on Wall Street. Obviously, on September 20th and September 21st, we have the FOMC meeting. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell will probably be raising interest rates by 75 basis points. Now, there is a slight upside that we may be getting a 100 basis point rate hike. I think futures traders are pricing in about a 30% probability for a 100 basis point rate hike, which is 1 percentage point. And I think Argentina actually raised interest rates 555 basis points last week. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll review it. We'll go into a big deep dive. Don't you guys worry. Also, if you guys scan the QR code on your screen, usually every other Tuesday after the market closes, I'll send out a free financial newsletter that I write. Look at how beautiful these flowers are, where we not only cover the US equities market, but fixed income, real estate, all that good stuff. So we'd love to have you join us over there as well. So if you scan the QR code, punch in your email, you'll be signed up to get it for free. So since it's Saturday, team, I'll let you guys decide. Should we walk up Broadway or should we walk up Fifth Avenue? I'll let you guys decide. Yeah, Sam says hibiscus. Aren't they beautiful? Beautiful. Tribal Chief says, Tom, how's the weather? Is it cold or warm? Well, today was actually pretty warm in the city, but right now it's cooled off quite a bit. Wow, look at that. This looks like Gotham City here with the Empire State Building. Ooh, this guy's going the wrong way in the bike lane. Well, hope it works out for him. Roy, hey, Tom, Barry is here, says Fifth. All right, we'll go up Fifth. We'll go up Fifth. Roy S., good to see you. Martin says you did Fifth yesterday. Did we really do Fifth yesterday? We may have done Fifth yesterday. All right, we'll do half and half. We'll split it. We'll split it. I forget where we even live streamed yesterday. Does anybody remember where we started? So yesterday was the Friday night live stream. So that means we must have started Canal Street and Broadway, I think. Hey, Tribal Chief, thank you so much for the nice compliment. Thank you so much. Hey, Seven says, hey, Tom, have a great night. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. I think it's important to take some time off, decompress, get ready for the week ahead. We are now walking right next to Madison Square Park. British Grey, you're correct. Harry Connor says we did Little Italy Friday, that's right. Sometimes I forget. Wow, guys, look at this. I think this is as good of a view as you're gonna get. But British Grey, thank you for joining. Oh, look at the dog. These are the Doge, the Shiba Inu. Love those. But British Grey is our good friend from Tampa, Florida. Good to see you, British Grey. Trust your weekend is going well. Yeah, Western